What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life.
And Katie.
Welcome to Pasco County, Florida. Today we are in West Pasco, and we're going to drive through a few communities like Trinity, where we are right now. And then from here, we're going to head through Holiday and New Port Richey. We're just going to drive a freestyle drive through Pasco County. It is a little hot, so every once in a while I'm going to have to run the air conditioner. You'll notice the air conditioner running kind of high because we have to keep our equipment cool. But we are in Pasco County, north of Tampa, and good old Trashco County. Really nice day here today. Nice day, nice. A lot of retired people in this little area. Seems like there's a lot of older people here. Advanced age. Affordable. It's so much more affordable here than other parts of Florida, and I think that's why people retiring kind of flock to this little area.
There's two LIQ stores
Next to each other. What is that?
In the same plaza.
Gotta get the drink, man. You gotta have the drink.
Wow, okay.
Gotta have the drink, man. Gotta have the drink. So I went bass fishing.
And then there's one across the street that's huge.
3 places to get a drink in one area. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little excessive. I need to put down the drink a little bit and relax. I think we gotta go straight. I'll go straight ahead. No, sneeze loudly! No!
I hate when you do that.
You've never sneezed before? Probably not like that. Probably not like that. You don't know how to sneeze right. Is somebody panhandling on another road? Sure enough is, right? Pasco County, man.
Can't escape to Pasco.
Can't get away from Pasco. 2 minutes into the video, we're at our first panhandler. This is somebody older, too.
Yeah.
It's frustrating in Florida at times. Chelsea Plaza. Let's go, stupid test. Get out of my way, man. Wow, they threw money at her?
They just
threw money at her, okay. They just threw money at her. She definitely looks disabled.
And she's got
they're in traffic. They're in traffic. They can't stop.
Yeah.
It's definitely
She's struggling to get it. It's
definitely heartbreaking to see that, elderly disabled woman out here in this heat. It's like 100 degrees out here. I mean, it's definitely heartbreaking to see that. Facts, man. It's definitely heartbreaking. Beautiful little drive here, kind of rural. Oh, you see some heartbreaking stuff here in Pasco County. It's Pasco with the trash can. Can you imagine being out there in this heat right now? I mean, I think our phone's gonna overheat even with the camera running.
I don't go outside in this type of heat.
I think the phone's gonna overheat even with the AC running. It's gonna overheat. It's not gonna run a little bit higher.
Run it at full blast.
It's just for like a minute. See if we can Sorry about that, guys, but that's just how hot it is out here.
Yeah.
Can you imagine panhandling in this heat?
Oh my goodness.
Bro. Oh, we got subs or pizza. Masa, is that Mexican? Bro, it is hot. It'll cool down a little bit. Just enough, I guess. I don't know what I can do to get the sun off this one. So hot. Once we turn on that curve, we'll get the right angle off. It's hot. I mean, to be in this heat out there panhandling would be horrific. I mean, you're in the car with the air conditioner on and it's unbearable. Imagine being out there in this heat, disabled, elderly, panhandling. It's not really a little rougher than we're used to.
Yeah. I can't tell if someone was on something or they got heat stroke.
driving through Pasco. Heading north now, northeast. Just mostly heading in the northbound direction. So usually we drive along US 19. Today we're gonna go a little bit further inland. This will give us kind of a more, kind of a different view of this area. If as hot as it is outside today, I don't think anybody's gonna be walking around. There's definitely people living in the woods right there. You can see the piles of garbage sticking out.
That's all wet back there.
Yes, in a little pond. I'm not sure how far north we're gonna go on this road trip. I had to get an oil change today. It was $116.
It's just an accident. Oh, okay. Already.
The pictures they're gonna send us?
Huh?
The pictures? What happened, man? What happened, man? What happened, man?
Oh, the place we looked at. That's the shops.
Oh, cool. Yeah, rents are definitely more affordable in this part of Florida than where we live. But I mean, look around. This kind of looks like Texas out here. It's just kind of barren. Cruising through Pasco in my Humvee. Driving above the speed limit aggressively. He's got an umbrella to walk, that's the right idea. It's as hot as Texas and as barren as Texas out here. I feel like I'm in Garland, Texas. This place has like a really just bland, run-of-the-mill vibe. Pasco County knows how to party in the city of Newport Richie. They keep overdosing. Yeah! In the city of Trinity, they think they're better than the rest of the county. Welcome to Pasco, where the old people stay, and they on cops like every day. Hit streets, see old people roaming, and crackheads don't stop till 6 in the morning. Welcome to Pasco with the ash coat, with the trash coat. Somebody's just sleeping in the woods right there on the side of the road. You just see somebody
Young
right
person.
there. Yeah, a little shopping cart. Yeah, homelessness
Sure
is
young.
yeah, homelessness is wild out here. There's a tent right there. You can see a tent. Is it really just a tent right there?
Yep.
That's nuts, dude. It's like California. It's just out in the open.
Oh, I think it's in the backyard.
It's
No?
it's in the wooded lot. There's just a tent there.
Wow.
It's crazy. I bet it's not the only homeless person here. So how many homeless people are at this gas station? There's a tent right there in the woods, right there. You can see it right behind these trees. You can just make out there's a tent right there in the woods. You can see it from the highway.
Yeah.
Nah, hiding in or nothing.
Yeah.
That's out in the
Shopping
open, dude.
cart,
Yeah.
out in the open.
It's just a homeless camp out in the open, dude. Yeah, homelessness is definitely in a bad shape in this part of Florida.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the problems that this area has is how much homelessness there is. There's a trail going that way, so there's going to be another homeless camp there.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times they like to be behind the Walgreens because they dig through the garbage. Remember that one homeless camp we found behind a Walgreens in Venice, Florida?
Yep.
What they do is they dig through the garbage they throw away prescription pills and stuff at the Walgreens, and they dig through the garbage to get pills from the Walgreens. Because the Walgreens will, if their garbage can's not secure, the Walgreens will just a random umbrella there on the ground. The Walgreens will throw away pills and stuff, and they'll dig through the garbage looking for them. So yeah, there's just homeless camps out in the open out here. I guess if it's somebody older or disabled, they're safer here because there's stores and stuff where if they're out deeper into the woods, they can be victimized more easily. And yes, people do rob homeless people because homeless people, they can't call the cops because they're trespassing.
Yeah.
So if a homeless person gets victimized, they can't call the cops. So what'll happen a lot of times is the homeless people will, they'll be afraid to call the cops if they're robbed. So people do rob homeless people.
You gotta be a low person to
And
rob a homeless
and there's
person.
people out there that do it. I had an Uber passenger in Bradenton who was bragging to me about how easy it is to rob homeless people. Isn't that crazy?
I hope you left him at a curb.
Yeah, you can't really. There's somebody else on that bench over there. But it was like a Uber passenger, and they were just bragging about how easy it is to rob homeless people. And me and my boyfriend rob homeless people. I'm like, wow, what a freaking low life. To take advantage of somebody who's already in a vulnerable spot like that. And it's like the ones that don't use substances are the ones that are most likely to have a little bit of cash on them, They'll have a little bit of cash on them if they're not like crackheads. Crackheads will spend every dollar they got as soon as they get it. Oh boy, is it hot today. This is unbelievable. I wouldn't doubt the phone was just cut off eventually. If the video just cuts off randomly,
Yeah.
it's because it overheated and it just couldn't go anymore. I'm trying the best I can to keep it cool, but it's just too hot. Pasco County knows how to party. Sweaty inside the car, man. Elevated, a higher level of living. Yeah, they're definitely high around here, I tell you what. A higher level of living. Not much that you can say about Pasco County that hasn't already been said about Iraq. Gas station here. Trouble Creek, the name says it all. Somebody sleeping on the side of that gas station right there. We did some videos off of this place, didn't we? Sometime back, I think we did. And this heat to be out there, not having a place to sleep with some air conditioner. Little deer. Oh, look at this guy's ride.
Cow. Yeah.
Yeah, you almost can't fit through these
cow.
trails. Look at this guy's Volkswagen.
Look at the cat.
Look at the Volkswagen. That was about some hand kill looking guy right there. Like, I'll tell you what. That boy ain't right. 3:47 in the afternoon. Oh, we were in the shadow of an airplane. $2.99 for gas. We love our customers. Pasco. close to Moon Lakes? Because that's always been a hit on our channel.
Wow.
Oh, good map and look at it. Young lady. What's how cool.
Is that cool?
When you turn shot me around.
We are nowhere near Moon Lake.
So ways down the road. I think we're gonna check out Moon Lakes later on. To go drive along Pasco. Hacienda Village. Are you exhausted as I am? I'm just exhausted. I don't know if it's the heat or what. I feel drained.
I told you we didn't
You
sleep.
appreciate your business, baby. Your business, baby. Business, baby. Appreciate your business, baby. Your business, baby. About to pass Port Reggie here. Richard, baby. I hate having to have the air conditioner on so high, but it's like the only way this video's gonna happen. It's just too hot. $2.95 for gas. Cheap gas prices up this way compared to where we live. Pasco County, baby. Out of a little crackhead, so like, yeah. It's just wrong. Why would you even say something like that, Catherine? Why would you even say something like that? It's just wrong. Pasco County, baby. Get your little homeless camp in the wood, baby. Being all hot, baby. Your little hot, man. In Pasco. There's gonna be a homeless camp in here somewhere. Probably right in there. You just see like trails going off in the woods. You know those people living back home in places.
Yep.
A little tent set up, man. A little pipe, man. To about. Is this another Carlton Arms?
It looks like
It
the
is.
Carlton Arms.
Yeah, it's a Carlton Arms. Is it gated?
Is it? It is Carlton Arms.
It is.
Oh, they have a.
Oh, it's
Check it.
gated. Okay.
Oh, just go around.
Yeah,
Yes.
somebody- I'm just gonna spin around. Appreciate it, yeah. Alright, buddy.
Yeah.
It's another Carlton Arms,
I
dude.
can't believe
They're everywhere. There's two of them up this way, I think.
Well,
There's one in Bradenton, there's one off of Himes and is it Himes in Tampa? Yeah, there's one in Tampa.
yeah.
There's one in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
There's one yeah, there's quite a few of them. There's one in East Bradenton off of Manatee, 64. This one here. One in St. Pete, one in Tampa. The one in Tampa is kind of off of man sold right here. A little Pasco County. A little Pasco. A little Pasco in your life. I need a little Pasco in my life. A little bit of holiday with a knife. I need a little bit of Pasco in my life. A little bit of holiday with a knife. A little Newport Richie, 3 at night. A little bit of Jasmine Estates makes you alright. It's a weird looking area.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like some Texas vibes, you know? The traffic. This looks like Hialeah right here. All these fences. A little Hialeah in your life.
Let her go.
Well, yeah, she didn't really leave me any other choice there. A little Hialeah in your life. A little bit of Kissimmee with your wife. A little Opalaka and you'll die. A little bit of Immokalee. Somebody panhandling right there again. Orchard Lake.
He found himself a seat.
Found himself a place to sit while. That's some lazy crap right there. The homie found a place to sit down while panhandling. That's some lazy crap right there, brother.
It's hot. I'll give him that.
It's a that's a lazy spot right there, man. The homie's panhandling while sitting down. That's
He's older too.
oh come on, man. You at least got to stand up to panhandle. You can't panhandle sitting down. I mean, I've
Is
seen.
that a tumbleweed?
That's a great way. Yeah, it is a tumbleweed. What's that doing in Florida? I'm telling you, this place has some like Texas vibes. It is a tumbleweed. Yeah, I don't know how I got to Florida. Probably hitchhiked over here. I'm not gonna lie. That's like the laziest panhandling move I've ever seen right there. Like homies in the way to welcome somebody to your community. Like, welcome to Orchard Lake Village. We have a homeless person right in front of the sign. Florida ain't right, man. Florida ain't right. I'm sure there's a realtor who will hate this video.
Always.
Like a Orchard Lake pushing realtor. Like, this does not represent our community. I'm like, oh yes it does. He's running. He's willing to run if he has to. Oh, he got his money up. Look how happy he is. He ran the run if he has to. Okay, I'll give him that. See how happy he was when he got that money? That's the happiest person I've seen all day right there.
Yeah.
He's got a nice bike on the other side too.
Yeah.
He looks very happy. He was very excited to get that money. He's eating too. We got food and everything. People help the homeless out here.
Yeah.
Have a good day, brother. He looks very happy. He looks very happy. He's got a smile on his face, man. That's one thing, man. Just because you're in a messed up spot don't mean you gotta be all bitter. And
Yeah.
you can generally see the happiness in that guy's face. He's got something to eat. He's in the shade. Pizzeria. There's a lot of pizza places around here.
Yeah.
La pizzeria italiana. It's a pizzeria italiana. Ah!
Oh my gosh.
This lady's gotta be. I was gonna say something really mean, but I'm not gonna say it. I tell you what, man, they're gonna do like a little dang soap scum down there or something down there. They gonna just sweat, man. Oh, the pawpaw, man. How fast we just run there?
No idea. Probably really slow.
Oh, the Pasco. The cops look like border patrols. They got the green stripes on the side. A little bit of Pasco to ruin your life. A little speeding ticket for your life. This place is definitely interesting. It's like every intersection you pull up, it's a new adventure in this town. The entry's next to a ditch right there. Say you're from the Caribbean islands without saying you're from the Caribbean.
That car definitely says from the Caribbean.
Yeah, they were Haitians for sure.
Yeah.
I only had to get that specific when they did mention the car.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Caribbean islands, but Kay's like, no, we're gonna have to be a little bit more specific than that. I'm gonna go Pasco County. My back is killing me. I'm gonna have to go for a walk around these homeless camps. Pasco. Tell me you live in Pasco without telling me you live in Pasco. There's a place in Florida where you can buy a free piece of land in a tent in a camp, and you can live inside a tin can. There's a place. Can you tell me where it's at? Yes, I can. There's a place where you can live inside a tin can. And you can snort inside a can, fart inside a can, and eat right out of a can. Yes, I can. And the place is Pasco County. And the place, it's a place abounding. It's a place you ought to go. And if you know, you know. It's a place called Pasco County. It's a place you should go. It's a place you ought to see. There's a trailer park on Odyssey. You can go to Moon Lake. Search for recent places. Moon Lake, Florida. Somewhere classy.
At the light, turn right onto Panhandling Drive.
Take a
In a quarter
ride.
mile, turn right onto.
At the light.
Head north on Regency
Take
Park
a
Boulevard toward Briar Way. In
You
a
can
quarter
be on
mile,
my
turn left
road.
onto Cherry Creek Lane.
On Cherry Creek Lane, where Hank Hill sold propane. How you feeling today, Catherine?
I feel good.
I feel good. Catherine feeling good. Catherine feeling alright. We're heading to Moon Lakes now.
Turn left onto Cherry Creek Lane.
Shady Creek, Shady Creek. Shady Creek, Shady Creek, Shady Creek, Shady Creek. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just gonna go. I can't go. I tried to. I did the best I could to force myself to the intersection, but they weren't going for it. A work van. A work van. Cherry
In a
Creek,
quarter mile,
where the
turn left onto
potholes
Fox
make
Hollow
the
Drive.
wheels creak. Creak. How long do we have to wait before we can turn this car in?
A while. A
Why?
little
Is
bit.
it for tax purposes or for credit?
Credit.
Is it for credit purposes or for tax purposes?
Credit.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with our taxes, right?
They're both.
How does it affect our taxes?
Turn left onto
Because
Fox
it's a
Hollow
business
Drive.
fee.
Then turn right onto Regency
So we
Park
can't trade it
Boulevard.
out?
Not yet.
Why? Player, you should mow your lawn. At the very least, mow your lawn, people in Pasco. Dang, bro. What a mess. 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 Plywood on the windows. This is kind of like really run down around here. You don't really realize how
At the
run
light,
of the mill
turn
it
right
is
onto
until you
Regency
run
Park
out of the mill.
Boulevard.
You don't really realize how run of the mill this area is until you run up the mill and realize you are in the mill. You don't know why it affects your taxes?
I'll talk to you after about that.
I mean, we have a 100,000 mile warranty, but from judging by what they told us, we're gonna have to have another warranty work done to the truck, and they don't seem like they want to do anything
In a
every
quarter
time.
mile,
Every time you
turn
go in
left
there,
onto Cherry Creek Lane.
every time you go in there, it's a problem,
Yep.
and they always
Head
want to
east
say
on
it's
Fox
your
Hollow
fault, not
Drive
theirs.
toward Old Hickory Lane. In
Yo,
1,000
Hick.
feet, turn right onto Glenmore
We'll
Lane.
go the north route. Yo, Hick. Yo, Hickory. This is kind of like an older part of Florida, like where buildings are
Turn right
kind of
onto Glenmore
older.
Lane.
People are older, buildings are older. Old Florida right here at its finest.
Continue on Glenmore Lane for half a... Head east on Fox Hollow
fishing
Drive
right
toward
there.
Lake Crease Lane. Continue on Fox Hollow Drive for 3/4 of a mile.
This is kind of like remind you of California.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of hilly houses that are kind of like older.
Yeah.
Pasco County, take me home to the place. Pasco Rose, Pasco County, Pasco County, take me home. Take me home to the place. Pasco Rose, Pasco County. Near a trash can, nowhere near a beach. Not a real beach. You gotta love how people get mad at you when you say they don't have beaches. You're like, we have a beach. I'm like, bless your heart. You just don't know any better. Look at how run down these houses. They got like plywood on the windows, a window shaker. They ain't pressure washed. They got beehives growing.
Yeah.
Christmas lights they ain't taken down yet. An old beat up car with a tarp over it. These are some trashy people out here. Person watching the video. I'm unsubscribing, Jose. After all these years of supporting your YouTube channel, that's how you feel about my house. I'm unsubscribing.
There's
happened to
some
that
houses
van
around
right
here
there,
that are
too?
very nice, though. I'll say
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, but I'm sure there's houses that are nice around here. I mean, I ain't seen them yet, but there should be.
I've seen plenty of houses.
There could. I wouldn't doubt it, and I wouldn't doubt it, Catherine. I feel like I'm in California. Like it has like a
In
really,
1,000 feet, turn right onto Moorhead Lane.
it has like a different weird vibe, doesn't it? Like doesn't it feel like we're in California or something? It doesn't have like a Florida vibe. I feel like I'm in Sacramento or something. The houses are just kind of older and all up against each other.
At the light, turn right onto Moorhead Lane.
At the light, turn right on Moorhead Lane, and please do not complain. Don't make fun of my plan. They're like washing the refrigerator all the
Continue on
time.
Moorhead Lane for 3/4 of a mile.
Nice.
Head east on
You know
Fox
what?
Hollow Drive
I'd
toward
buy that
Woodstock
house
Lane.
if I could do one
In a
thing to
1/4
it.
mile, turn right onto Little
Take it
Road.
somewhere else. Oh, what's this wrong over here? That's wrong. You wouldn't say nothing like that. Y'all do not say stuff like that, Jose. It ain't nice to the people who live here. You smell that? Wow.
Wow.
Herbal essence.
That one they fixed it up. really
Or
nice.
that's going
Yeah.
on too. Somebody
Oh,
ran
it's like that here.
Mhm. Wow. The house is all abandoned looking. It might have been nice someday a long time ago. Look at that one. It's abandoned for real. Man,
At
these
the light,
neighborhoods
turn
are
right onto Little
decrepit
Road.
with the epic down there. So run down and decrepit out here. A little lion, and a
Continue on
little
Little Road for
road,
1.5 miles.
a little crack pipe, and a little stove.
Head northeast on Little Road.
A little
In 800 feet, turn right onto
a
Grove
little
Drive.
felony. A little
Turn right onto Grove Drive.
Get here, Holly Grove, man. Shout somebody from Holly Grove, man.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Hilltop Drive.
Hilltop, I represent everybody on Hilltop, man.
Head northeast on Little Road toward Penn Court. In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto Jasmine Boulevard.
Look at all the garbage on the side of the road. These paper filthy out here. Look at all that garbage. Have they thought about cleaning something like that? These houses are decrepitated. Every once in a while there's a nice house. But
Turn right onto Jasmine Boulevard.
I'd buy a house here if I could take it somewhere else. Look, the Walgreens closed down. You see that Walgreens over there? How it closed?
Yeah.
That's pretty sad when Walgreens is closing. I heard Walgreens are closing all throughout the
Continue
country.
on
I don't know if that's
Jasmine
true or
Boulevard
not.
for half
Yeah.
a mile.
That's sad. I like Walgreens. The Bogoon. It's probably one of my favorite convenience corner stores. It gets a little woody around here. Kind of country and rural. Messy and rural. You can almost don't smell the meth labs. It's kind of pretty around here. The dream, baby. The dream. Why are these people so filthy? They just throw Hungry Howard's pizza boxes everywhere. Maybe they want a pizza right now. Don't it just make you want a Hungry Howard's when you saw that? Some shady looking area right here. Shady Hills.
In 1,000 feet,
There's more
turn
rural
right onto
out here,
Osceola
though.
Drive.
Get some acreage and start your own pep pab down there. Watch it explode like a trailer in Oklahoma.
Turn right onto Osceola Drive.
Osceola. 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 What this house supposed to take a what, right? Okay, I'll take a right.
This is left.
I'll do whatever I want. No woman's gonna tell me what to do.
But it says you can do that also.
I'll do whatever I want to. No woman's gonna tell
Head
me what to
northeast
do.
on Osceola Drive towards Sunbeam Drive. Continue on Osceola Drive for 1.5 miles.
1.5 miles. Awesome. Well, this is kind of like a more rural part, obviously. More land, more acreage, more meth labs. Just kind of a country place out here. Type of place where you and your cousin can settle down. Have a few kids. Alright. Check it out. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. The redneckery out here is phenomenal. There's some phenomenal redneckery around here. It's just the type of redneckery you don't say everywhere. Me and my cousin Sally moved out here from West Virginia in 2004. We had a couple kids. Billy came out all right compared to his brother. And we named him Timmy. And Timmy and Billy, they're special needs. Neighbors said it had something to do with me and Sally being related. But I don't pay them no mind. Because I know deep down, the purest breed is the breed that's pure. My name is Larry Oliver the Fourth. We come from a long line of inbred folks. Some of us are down in Texas now. Oil rigs. There's a prison right next to it. That's where my uncle Larry's at. And then in West Virginia, there's a real beautiful hill, and right on top of that hill, there's a big, beautiful castle sitting on 500 acres, overlooking a creek, 100-foot trees. If you just go a mile past that, there's another prison, and that's where my Uncle Joe's at. You're not really feeling this, are you? We got family in Kentucky too.
In a 1/4 mile, turn right onto Chicago Avenue.
Kentucky, there's a big, beautiful lake with some willows right back. There's a big farm up there with some big old horses. If you go about 5 miles past that, there's another prison, and that's where my Uncle Joseph's at. Now, Joseph and Joe are
Turn right
twin
onto
too.
Chicago Avenue.
Their mother and aunt. Little tracker right
In a
there.
1/4 mile, turn right onto State Road 52 East.
Yep. A lot of people say bad things about Pasco County, and I can't agree with them. I couldn't agree.
$2.88 for gas here.
Gas is cheap. Meth
You
is
pay
even,
by cash.
if you pay with meth, it's even cheaper. Some people pay with cash.
Oh, cash is more than easy.
Well, if you
Than credit.
wow, this person's building like a mansion here. How's that work?
Head east on Mineola Drive
It's
toward
like,
Teton
once
Drive.
you're a big town meth dealer, you can
In
do
a
something
quarter
like
mile,
that.
turn left onto Teton Drive.
That, doesn't really check out.
Yeah.
Why are you building a McMansion here?
And that style.
Dude, that's, I don't know if y'all saw that. Let me see if I can, I don't want to be too nosy because there's people in the driveway, but I'll pull around so y'all can see this. It's kind of an odd place for a McMansion. Like, once your Mayflag's been around for a while and ain't got busted, you can build yourself something nice. You can build yourself something real nice. And he had the biggest, most successful Mayflag in Pasco County. He was able to build himself a mansion in Moon Lakes.
Yeah.
Window shaker, window shaker, bottle shaker. He had a window shaker. He had a bottle shaker. Look at the size of this thing. It's like a McMansion. It doesn't even look like a house. It looks like a. It looks like a palace of some sort. Yeah, I don't want to be rude. Look at that. Who builds something like that in Pasco? That's a house. Who builds a house that big out here? It's like, once your meth lab doesn't explode for 5 years, and like if you can keep your meth lab from exploding after 4 or 5 years, you get yourself something like that.
Head west on Mineola Drive toward
My
Chicago
goodness,
Avenue.
can you imagine
Turn
building a
right onto
McMansion
Chicago
next to
Avenue.
behind a freaking
At the
circle
light,
of skate?
turn right onto
Wow.
State Road 52
That's
east.
wild work right there, dude.
Head
That's
east
some
on
wild
State
work,
Road
man.
52 east.
Look, it's like McMansion. They got windows overlooking the Circle K. It's like, that's redneck rich right there, dude. It's like, we want these windows facing the front so we can see the Circle K where we smoke.
Can you stop?
It's like, hey, honey. That's like some crackhead that won the homeless person who used to live back here and wins the lottery. That's got to be a homeless person who won the lottery. I mean, who builds giant windows overlooking a freaking
It
circle?
looks like an ABC liquor.
That's a homeless person who won the lottery right there. There he is right there in the front yard without a shirt.
Yeah.
That's a homeless person who won the lottery. At this Circle K right here. It's like, honey, we're going to build us a... I want to be able to see the Circle K where we won that lottery. I mean, who else would build a McMansion with windows facing the back of a Circle K?
Oh my god.
That's like meth galore right there, man. You need a water or something?
No, I'm good.
Sure.
Yeah.
You sure you don't need a water or something?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You sure? I get some water. Something to drink or something. I guess not.
Yeah, I'm
Need
good.
water. That is like crackhead galore right there. Freaking McMansion overlooking a Circle K. That's a homeless person who won the lottery right there. Like, I want to live right here. I want big windows where I can see the Circle K
Turn
from
right
my
onto State
living
Road
room.
52 east.
I want to be able to see the Circle K from my living room. Yeah, buddy! Yeah, buddy! The redneckery around here is just on par, man. Like the levels of redneckery in this part of Florida, superior sheds. I used to work for their competitors. I used to work for their competitor. They're out of Miami. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. The guy that used to work, this guy panhandling in the middle of the road or something. It's hot, man. He's just walk handling. He's not even panhandling. He's just like walk handling. I tell you what, man. There's just some superb redneckery here in Pasco County. That's what you should call the video. Superb redneckery
in Pasco
County. That's gonna be the title of this video. Hey, we're almost to Moon Lakes. That's a real fancy area right there.
Oh, it's the nicest place out there.
I mean, who else would build a McMansion facing a Circle K?
Yeah.
That's like a homeless person who won the lottery. There's no other explanation for that. Or a meth dealer whose lab didn't blow up after 5 years. Like, I'm gonna retire, but I still want to be able to see the place where it all started. Circle K on my Moon Lakes up there. I tell you what. Off of Chicago Road and Moon Lake down there. El Puble! El Puble! El Puble! El Puble! El Puble! El Puble te vende una cucaracha. El publi te vende hasta una chancleta. Pero lo que no te vende el publi es una galleta. Métele 2 galletas, métele 2 galletas, métele 2 galletas, métele 2 galletas. El publi te vende 2 cucarachas. El publi te vende hasta chancleta. Pero lo que no te vende en el publi es una galleta. Métele la galleta. What a featureless wonderland of homelessness and poverty.
Yeah.
Good old country people. Good old Pasco. 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 Pasco and do not collect $200. Go straight to jail. Oh, this is fancy right here. They got wooded lot. Boulder fence. Pretty soon we're gonna be in Moon Lakes. Now that's fancy right there. Moon Lakes. Summer tree. They take their poop down the tank. Them folks down there at Summerton down there, they take their poop down the tank and they live in a little gated community, a little gay garden house or something like that. They ain't even worried about that. I got me a house in Moon Lake. I've heard people live in Moon Lakes actually like it. On cops TV shows, the guy getting arrested, he's like, man, this is why I live here. We're on cops, honey. Smile for the camera. Clean that blood off your face and smile, honey. The homeless can't buy any since Rose. Clean that blood off your face and smile for cops, honey. Oh, look at the Florida highway pooping down there.
And a sheriff too.
Mm-hmm. They graded pud down there. They graded pud down there.
I have never seen the Pasco County Sheriff. I'm sure he does TV appearances, but I've never
He probably
seen
lives in Lakewood Ranch, like next door to us, and we're not even aware.
Probably.
It's like, I'm not living in Pasco County. I'll do all that talk on the TV show, but I'm going to get me a place in Lakewood Ranch where I can be safe. And then old dang old Pasco County down there. Look at how tall these
In a
trees
quarter
are.
mile, turn right onto Moon Lake
Look at the
Road.
height of those trees.
Wow.
That's some tall trees right there, where the wind don't blow and the sun don't shine. Moonshine, we're making moonshine where the sun don't shine. We're making moonshine where the sun don't shine. We're making moonshine.
At the light, turn right onto
where
Moon
the
Lake
sun
Road.
don't shine. We're making moonshine where the sun don't shine. At least their gas prices are better than ours here.
Mm-hmm.
And their meth prices are... You couldn't get it lower if you made it yourself.
Head south toward Moon Lake Road.
People are very fertile here.
Oh, they sure are. Or they're that or morbidly obese, one of the two.
In 100
That's
feet,
fertile.
turn right onto Moon Lake
Oh,
Road.
that's just
Turn
a
right onto
well-fed
Moon
man.
Lake Road.
Is that the guy with the wide neck that's on TV?
No.
You ever seen the guy with the wide neck in Florida, man?
Yes.
It's not the wide neck man?
That's not white neck man.
Alright, it looks just like wide neck man. This is not a place where you'd see him.
Continue on Moon Lake
Out in the
Road for
wild.
3
I
miles.
thought he was from like
Look at all the
Miami or
garbage
something.
behind that gas station. Beautiful. Let's check it out. Gorgeous. No, he lives in North Florida, like up by Scambria County or something. Probably.
Yeah.
What's for all this garbage? Bro, look at that, all that garbage on the road. I bet you there's a homeless kid back there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
You wanna go check it out?
Head southeast
really.
toward Moon
I don't
Lake
think
Road.
they've cleared
Then
out
turn
homeless.
right onto
Look at all
Moon
the
Lake
garbage
Road.
on the road. There's just like garbage on the road here, just filthy. Filthy. You can tell there's homeless camps everywhere out here. Clothes on the road, somebody's dirty underwear on the road.
I just saw that where I
Head
was
northeast
doing
on Moon Lake Road toward State Road 52 East.
Pasco County is really
At the
something
light,
else.
turn right onto State Road 52 East. Then turn right onto Key Lime Drive.
Is there a person in there or is it just close?
It's just closed.
There might be if there's a person there, you couldn't see them. And there's a person laying in there. You couldn't even tell they were in there. That's crazy. Sometimes Florida gives you the chills, man.
Yeah.
You see some stuff out here where
No,
it's just
there's
like,
nobody in there.
if there was, you wouldn't be able to tell. Florida is just gnarly, man. There's another little.
I don't want to turn around.
We're turning around. It's just getting good. It's
No,
just-
because you can't get out there.
But I don't want to get out. I'm right where I want to be. This is where I want to be right here. Why would I go somewhere else? We're in the thick of the action right here, honey.
You can't
Look,
get out.
you want me to give you a sunflower?
No thanks.
Look, there's sunflowers right there. You want me to grab you a sunflower?
No, I'm good.
I'm a gentleman. I'm going to get you a dang flower. As any proper gentleman would, I'm going to get you. It's full of fire ants. It's got spiny thorns underneath. See the fire ants on it? It's full of fire ants.
See a little worm on it.
You want to keep it or just want to look at it? Maybe you just want to pass on that and just throw it out the window?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a gentleman here, but it's got like a sticky fiber.
Yeah. And it might have been grown with meth.
Okay. Well, that didn't really work out the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
It didn't work out the way I thought it would.
Yeah.
It's got like fire ants on it.
And worms and I'm like, what am I doing with this?
Dude, the amount of
I
homelessness.
appreciate the gesture though.
Alright, well, because you know I'm a gentleman, right?
Yes, you are.
Look at people just come and start dumping garbage here.
Yeah.
That's a nasty. People are nasty.
Yeah.
You litter down there.
Yeah.
Why would you bring your garbage and throw it in an empty lot when you can put it in front of your trailer for all your neighbors to see it and feel jealous about it? It's an urban beautification project out here. Wow. It's like they were gonna build something here and then they're like, you know what? This ain't gonna work out.
Yeah.
We've had everything stolen from scrap metal to the pipes to the... Florida is in a bad state
Yeah.
called Florida. You sure there's not a person there?
There's no person.
You couldn't tell if there was a person. Gosh, it's horrifying. And if there was a person there, you couldn't tell. You really couldn't. I'm sure there's a homeless camp back in the woods here. There's like a little... There's like a little entrance there. A little carpet going back in there. There's got to be a homeless camp in there. You want to go in there and find out for me?
No.
Because I'm not going in there. I can't risk my safety like that. Oh, crap, man. Oh,
gosh.
dang it came out of nowhere, man.
You don't stop?
That
Head
came out of
southeast
that
toward
toad
Moon
out
Lake
there.
Road, then turn right onto Moon Lake Road.
Sirius XM radio.
You
Oh, what's up? Hey, Siri. What's the trashiest place in Florida?
Sorry, I can't show the result to you while you're in the car.
Well, we're not far from it, are we? Hey, Siri. Is there a meth lab near me?
I don't know where you are.
I'm in Pasco County. You're showing me a map of where I'm at. You ought to know. We'll do a Pasco County.
Head northeast
Moon Lake
on Moon Lake
separately.
Road toward Hialeah Avenue.
Hialeah City!
Turn right onto Hialeah
Oh,
Avenue.
that's City, Hialeah!
Turn right onto Hialeah Avenue.
Yo, what time of morning? Let's check out what's going on at this gas station up here.
There's usually something.
There's usually something interesting.
Then we start moving like video there.
Yeah, yeah, we could. Why not? Take me home.
At the light, turn
To
right
a
onto
place
State
there's a
Road
moon
52
and
East,
lake.
then turn right.
Pasco
Head
County.
southeast,
You can turn
then
this
turn
off.
left.
It's getting
This
aggravating.
is gonna be
on
at
State Road
Aldi.
52 East, then turn right onto State Road 52
Most places in
East.
Florida are closing down. Aldi's there. This is a Winn-Dixie. They're closing Winn-Dixie's everywhere.
Yeah, and it's coming to Aldi.
Mm-hmm. Where's your sightseeing, officer? Oh, great, beautiful things there are to see here in Pasco
Pasco
County.
County.
Hey, look, there's porta potties right there. Did you use a porta potty, honey?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like leaking from the bottom. You can see it leaking, like spilling over from it. Look at the size of that pothole. That's a good sized pothole in there. People just dump garbage everywhere. How filthy. It ought, the shopping cart right there. People, it ought to take a filthy person to even do something like that. What type of filthy person just leaves garbage behind a business? It ought to be a filthy person to do something like that. Look at the Pasco County Sheriff right there. He's just Pascoing around. Pasco County Sheriff
Let's
right
start
there.
this up.
Pasco County Sheriff right
You
there.
gonna start the other video?
We'll stop at the gas station. Looks like a good set. We can settle in. Get some good sights out here. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Well, there's this clothes there on the side of the road. Or somebody was just panhandling and left their clothes there. A pair of women's pants. Unbelievable. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. I know the SWAT's a good tattoo. Yeah, what do you expect around here? It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. I'm working on a song called It Ought to Be Wrong. It's about things that are just wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. Black man walks in with a blind woman. She had a black eye. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. This cop's gonna come bother us. Is he? No, he's not interested. It ought to be wrong to do something like that. Somebody on the comment section saying I'm racist. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. Hispanic person walks
We are
in.
now in Moonlight. Right?
Yes, we are. Hispanic male married to a white woman. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. He didn't hold the door open for her. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong just to assume a song's racist. You know, like, it ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. It ought to be wrong. Do something like that. It sure is.